What we're going to be doing now is we're going to be adding a couple of features to our project. And the first thing we've got here is filter puppy. And when we clicked on filter puppy, let me just try to remember this project. It would then ask the user, if I go filter puppy, it would pop up with another frame that would allow me to choose what I wanted to filter by. It would then filter according to that. It turns out that we don't have any female T-Rexes. But we want to now add something which will allow us to, we've got a class to add a puppy, but now we want to be able to delete a puppy. Now to delete a puppy, we actually have to change our interface quite drastically because one, we actually have to be able to select the puppy that we want to delete. And right now I can't do that. Now there's a couple of ways of doing it. One, I could make it so that there's a list box with all the puppies' names, and when I click on that puppy it would then display details down the side. Or two, I could make it so that this was a list bar and I could actually just select individual items and just delete that item. Or when I said delete puppy, I could ask them please enter in the puppy, but you've got to realize if I do it that way, it's not very, you would lose marks for, it doesn't have any error handling. And one of the biggest ways you can handle errors is by doing,
limiting what the user can select.
Yeah, input is a big thing. Now, what you'll see is, and I'm kind of in debate on how to do this. For now, before I go into a little bit more GUI, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the way that this works. This display will display all of them just in a list, and I'm not going to delete that. All I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move it off of the frame and just into the general components, so that it's not part of my main panel. And I want to change my main panel to, I'm still going to just put a panel in there. And in this panel, I'm going to put a list on the left-hand side. I'm going to display the actual details of the puppy on here. And I'm also going to add to that, I'm going to allow it to display an image of the puppy. So we don't actually technically have any images, but yeah, problem one. So in this panel, I'm going to set the layout. And remember, I have got videos on layout, so you guys can watch the layout videos a bit better. But the layout I'm going to use is a border layout, and a border layout, it has a northeast, southwest around the outside, and only the central panel will resize. So when you want something to be a set size and you only want other things to change, now you'll see I can either put this on the right, top, bottom, or left, or in the center. Center, it will always expand and take up more areas. So I wanted to put it onto the left-hand side and put the list there. And in this list, I'm going to delete the contents of this list. And you'll notice that when I say delete the contents of this list, I actually want to change the width of this list as well. You'll see on the bottom, on the left-hand side. Okay, let me get rid of this. You'll see on the left-hand side, there's a whole bunch of different properties you can change. And one of the properties that I want to work with is the one called model. And the model is actually a list model, and it contains all the items that we want, and they're separated by a comma. Now, before I do that, I'm going to go into the source code of it before I delete what's in there currently, and I'm going to take a look at how the computer generated item 1, item 2, item 3. So usual story, if there's anything that you're going to be changing in code, always name it. So I'm going to call this LST puppies. So this is my list of puppies. And if I go into here, into my source code, and I press Control F, and I search for LST puppies, it will then take me to everywhere. That's not how you spell puppies. It will then take me to everywhere where I have created or worked with puppies. So remember, I must just zoom in so you guys can see this a bit better. Is that enough? Cool. Too much. Okay, well, the next list of puppies, it says create a new J list. So okay, that's fine. And then here's where it actually adds item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. So all it does is it goes set model and it creates a new model. So it actually works with the model when it creates a new list. And an easy, perhaps lazy way of dealing with lists and with other GUI components is to find out how it's created inside when you drag and drop it, and then just copy that and reuse it. So now when we're wanting to, in our display all method that we've got up here somewhere, we now want, instead of wanting to display all our puppies, we're wanting to display not just that, we're actually wanting to display them also in this list box. So if we take a look at this list box, it requires an array of strings. Now if we're wanting a list of puppies, we're wanting a list of their names, because you always look at what is the unique identifier for the puppy. So if we take a look at our storage of puppies, you'll see there that what is my unique identifier of each of these puppies. In this case, each puppy has a
frozen screen, actually.
It has a frozen screen, okay? You guys can't see it. The video will be able to see it. But anyway, the name of the puppy is the unique identifier. So we're going to create this list as being the name of it. It's odd that it's frozen. Let me just try to roll this to my screen, then might work better. You guys can see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with regards to that, I'll just delete me. We're going to make the list be populated with that. So we need an array of names. So in my puppy manager or my puppy manager, we had a method called toString, and that's the one we used for that. But now I'm going to create another method which will be public string array. Oh, I must zoom in again. So it's going to return a string array of get puppies. And all this is going to do is it's going to create a new what did we call our counter on this? Do you guys remember? Oh, you know what? Did we use we used an array list in this, didn't we? Yeah. So we don't have a num. So this would be puppies. Dot size. Okay. Yeah, generally speaking, if you don't remember, just click around for those sort of things. It's always size, gets, or something like that. But now, in this case, we're going to create this, and we're just going to go for our tab, and we're going to go, instead of p.length, well, we can do p.length, and we can then go string, p position I is equal to puppies dot get I dot get name. So basically all I'm doing here is I'm looping through my array of puppies, which has got all the details, and I'm just receiving the name of each of them and adding that to a string array. I am then just going to return that string array. So now in my GUI, so this is just going to return an array of the string names of puppies. Do you guys get this? And then inside my GUI now, here, all I'm requiring is the names of the puppies. So all I'm going to do there is I'm going to say there, what did I call my manager? pman dot get puppies names, done. And that's the, you'll see that there's also an option of size and get the element sets, those kind of things. You guys can Google and mess around with that, but that's the easiest way to change a model. If you wanted to add something to the model, you could just go list puppies.get the model and then add the model, stuff like that, but I'll get into that later. Okay, so this will populate the list. I'm not liking the fact that this list is so small, and I know there is an option of the way to make it bigger in here. Fixed cell width. There we go. Okay, so let's make this 150. And then now when I run this, you'll see that when it populates it will populate the list of dog names on the side, and you'll notice that I can only select various things here. Do you guys get this?
Yeah.
Now, already there's an issue. Check this out.
You need to change your model.
I've selected multiple of them, but and yes, in one program I coded, I made it so if you selected multiple of them and you pressed delete, it would then loop through every single one that you're about to delete and delete all of them. But it does then require, if you allow it to select multiple, you have to code everything. So when I now click edit puppy, it would then allow me to edit all those puppies. Do you guys get this? So having select multiple does mean you have to code everything much more, because it means that you have to now code for being able to have select multiple. So there's a property inside your list box called select multiple, you would have thought. I think it's called select multiple. Yeah, there's something in here that says multiple select or something like that you need to set to false. I'm going to pause the video while I try to find out where the hell that is. I know it's somewhere. Yeah, to show you where it is, it's under selection mode. So at the top, just under model, you'll see the selection mode. It allows for single interval, multiple intervals, whatever. I'm just going to make it single. And single means that the user will only be allowed to select one individual item on there, not multiple. And now you've got to add code, so when you select the one item, it would then display that individual entities, which now means you have to go and create code to do that. So I need to add a label here. Oh, fail. That label is now taking up the whole area. So I'm going to add a panel into there, and inside this panel, I would create a label saying name. Okay, guys, I'm not going to code all of it because, quite frankly, I'm not going to waste the time on this. But I'm going to put something here called with the picture. And bear with me with this because I'm going to quickly download stuff. Okay, so all I've got here is I'm creating a label, and inside this label, I've just created this label of a certain size. And in this case, I'm going to create it 216 by 1174, whatever. It doesn't really matter. The point is I'll create a label at whatever size. But now, inside your project or inside your thing, inside your source code, I would create another folder called puppy pics. And inside puppy pics, I would create images inside there. Now, I would suggest you format the images using Faststone photo resizer or whatever you want to bulk resize or whatever you use to resize to the same size you've set this to be, because you don't want it to be too much larger, because to change labels as images takes labels aren't designed for images, so it doesn't do it properly. Guys can look in with regards to your plugin project. You can look at objects that will allow you to manipulate images better, and I'm sure they're not too complicated to use. So that is one thing you guys can look at. But we're going to be creating some images in here. Alrighty. Whoa, echo. Alright, so what we're going to do here is I'm using Faststone Photo Resizer to resize images. So I downloaded some images of the dogs that we have. Now, I just created those in a folder. So in this case, I've created inside the projects and whatnot. I didn't put it in the folder I wanted to be in at the end. I just put it. What the hell am I doing? Okay. So here's my 3 photos that I want to work with. These 3 here, and I want to do a resize of these photos. So what I do is I open them in Tools. There's an option of their batch convert selected images, and you'll see there. Ooh, I forgot one. I forgot the pug. Whoa, hello pug. Okay. So now I've got those images, and I'm going to change the output folder. Oh no, I have to rebrowse. No. This is annoying. This is not being a good video then. IT General Resources, Projects, Grade 11 Patch. And you put this inside your SRC. When you resize it and you want to put it to the size inside your SRC, puppy pics. Okay. Now you go to the option and the options here. You go to the options of use advanced folders. So I changed the advanced option I want to use is the resize option. And in the resize, I want to resize it to a specific width and height. Now, unfortunately, you might lose a bit of aspect ratio on this, but so be it. I'm not really fussed. But we want it to be exactly the same width and height as this. So in this case, I made the width and height of this. You'll see on the bottom, when you drag it, it shows you the size of it. So I'm going to make this 200 by 180. Fail. There we go. 200 by 180. So we're going to make this 200 by 180. And once we've done that, we are then going to go, I don't want to preserve aspect ratio, I don't care about aspect ratio, okay. And we are now going to convert. And voila, it's converted all of them. They all have a new size. They've either been scaled up or they've been scaled down. In this case, I think all of them kind of got scaled up. But voila, we got new sizes. Now, inside my component now, inside here, a label has an option of an icon. And in the icon, you can literally just select an image from a package. So in this case, puppy pictures, and I'm going to say Doge, for example. And then voila, bam, there's Doge, much wow. Now, on this, that would be how you would add an image. And again, like I said previously, you can look inside your source code to try to figure out how an image is, or how it happens. So if I go into my code here and I try to find LBL pick, you'll see there that it says set icon, it says new Java image icon, blah blah blah, gets resource, etc, etc, etc. So this line of code here allows me to set the icon. So when I select a dog here, I wanted to display a picture of that dog here, and I wanted to display the name of the dog here, as well as probably other details, but I'm not going to bother about coding that right now. So the first thing we're going to look at is the events inside this area here. So I'm going to create in my source code, damn it, yeah, a lot of scrolling. I really don't like being zoomed in sometimes. Yeah, now inside that, we're going to create a new method saying select puppy. So this is when you've selected a new puppy. So we now have selected a new puppy. So the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to find out which puppy was selected. So I'm going to go string name, and this is going to be the name of the puppy, and I'm going to go get lst puppies dot get selected index. Now this is the big value. Sorry, value would be the value of what is inside there. And they actually kind of depreciated that a bit because you kind of got to get the I and then get the value from that. But we'll see if this works. And I'm just going to then go start puppy, and then I'm going to print out the name just so we can see that we're getting this correct before we start coding too much. Now Control V, set LBL icon is equal to that, and all I'm going to do is, firstly, I would hope that all of my puppy pictures are the extension JPEG. So I know that it's going to have extension JPEG, but the names are going to differ. So all I would do is I would name my images the same as what it's named in the text file. So if I open up the text file, which is these here, I would name my dinosaur Bob with a capital B. So I'm going to go to here, and my T-Rex I'm going to name as Bob, so that it's the exact same as here. If I go back to my text file, my pug is named Dog, so I'm going to name my pug Dog, and my Doge, do I have a Doge?
So it can be chocolate under the no, it can be bacon and that. No, Steve the pug.
Steve the pug. Okay, so this will be, the Doge will be Steve. So if I now go and I say Steve, so now I've done that. You'll now see when I run my program, and strange enough, this is set as my, whoa, I fail, image icon. Okay, let me pause. Alright, so, oh, I've got to solve the problem. Error, Doge no longer exists because I renamed the file. So, in other words, when I added it in my design here, I've now got to redo that because it's now no longer called Doge. So I should actually go back in here, and then I'll select Steve, or whatever. Just so that, I think that was where the error was, but let's see if that's the case. Yeah, that was the error. Now, to show you what will happen now, Bob, when I click Bob, I haven't actually done anything as far as the actual event is concerned. So I've got no listener in my thing, and what I forgot to add was here an event to listen when a new item was selected. So you'll see here, I go events, there's an option, there's a whole bunch of different listeners. In this case, we want list selection value change. In other words, the item that has been selected on the list has been changed, and then we would run, what did I call it? The select puppy. So I just forgot to actually make the action listener. Stupid fail, but new mistake. So if I go Bob, you'll see it changes to the T-Rex Bob.
That's awesome.
And when I go to, who was the other one we did? We did Steve the pug, and we did dog. So you'll check it changes the images. So you could make it so that when you selected the various different things, that it would come up with a different image on there. But as I said, unless you use a more complex GUI component to handle the image other than a label, you'll need to resize the images to all be the same size as the label.
So this is like the beginning of a social network page. Like there's a name, there's a dog.
Okay, so we've changed the layout of this, but now we've also changed it so that we can select individual items. So now when it works with delete, we can work with delete and stuff on there. This video has already been 20 minutes, so I'm going to stop this video. So this video basically just goes through the GUI of setting it up slightly differently and the image, and then I'll create a new one to do the delete. Is that cool? Live long and prosper.